Hi, welcome to the Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hunter.
Today we're going to talk about two things that are very related. Dracula and Nosferatu.
Yeah.
It's basically all Dracula.
It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, one is essentially a copyright violation of the other.
It's great. So we had to talk about it all together.
Yeah. Quick shout out real quick. For those of you who have kept an eye on any of our socials, saw our emoji hints this week. We did a rat, a bat, and a cowboy, which we'll get to those eventually. But
if you've read Dracula, you should know.
you should be fully aware. Yeah. But shout out to Rat Defector 24 on Tumblr,
which is a great name.
It's truly wonderful. Thank you for your recommendations, and your rat bat recommendations. And I do want to say, yes, it's technically this is not a series, though there have been series of Dracula adaptations and such. So that's my explanation and defense on technically not a series.
Yeah.
But solid guess. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dracula and Nosferatu.
Yes.
We both have seen the movie Nosferatu recently.
Yeah.
Super good time. Had a wonderful time with that.
Yeah, it was great. We'll get there.
Yeah. Starting with Dracula.
I want to start chronologically, yeah.
Totally
So
fair.
it all started 1897.
Yep.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah. One could actually technically argue it started before that.
Yeah.
In that, like, it's pulled from, like, inspired by a whole lot of different stuff.
Yeah. It is.
One of the kind of big inspirations is John Polidori's The Vampire, which was written the same night as Frankenstein. It was Polidori was one of the people in the house with Byron and Shelley's and the Shelleys.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell actually.
Yeah, he wrote The Vampire.
Yeah,
and a lot of the mannerisms he gives his vampire is like kind of mocking of Byron.
I think from what I remember about this is like he was Byron's like doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, and then like he like died penniless or something.
That may be true.
Yeah, he didn't get any money from
his
the vampire.
After,
yeah. I do know that.
But some of his vampires' mannerisms are kind of mocking Byron's dramatic and
that makes sense.
Flirtatious, or not necessarily his flirtatious, but his like very dramatic and noble like mannerisms, which you can kind of see a little bit of that carried
exaggerated, I'd
through
say.
various vampires through like the rest of history.
Lord Byron was kind of very much a dick, so
God, fuck Byron, right?
He sucks. That guy sucks.
Yeah, you can definitely see like a hint of it, like less so in Dracula directly, but in like where Dracula has been led to through like modernity.
He's like very.
It's so funny to see how it carries through.
Yeah, high class.
Yes,
sort of
absolutely.
Thing.
Yeah, and the like sort of mystery and the just sultry, I guess.
Yeah.
In a.
Mysterious.
Direct or indirect.
Attractive.
As it were. Oh, I really thought that cat tree was going to topple over.
No. He's got it.
He's got it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I always think of, like, technically Dracula roots back to the same night as Frankenstein.
That's great.
Ways.
That, like, it just fits so well. Like,
I love it.
It is so great.
But yeah, 1897,
Yep.
Dracula was published, which I also mentioned this with Rachel earlier because I had to double check my numbers to make sure it was true. In 1895, 2 years before Dracula was published, was the trial of Oscar Wilde.
Yep.
Which definitely you can find some inspiration in Dracula there as well. The sort of foreignness of Dracula, and yet also Jonathan's fascination with this
exotic.
Sort of the exotic charm of Dracula. And you know there has always been the Jonathan has that attraction with Dracula, and in the book it is considered like it's foreign, it's dark, it's not necessarily something that we want to encourage given how dangerous Dracula clearly is.
But it's there.
But it is there just in the same way that we can look at Oscar Wilde's trial and this sort of fascination everyone had with the trial, with Oscar Wilde's situation. It's the same thing the reader has for Jonathan in this situation with Dracula. So you can see the parallels of the politics and all of it. So that's just another thing that I find interesting. You can look at politics of the time always affect the art, and it's so good and fascinating.
Yeah, art is political.
We love to see
like
it.
Many things in life are political because our lives are affected by politics directly. So
exactly, always.
Yeah,
included.
Yeah, this week especially.
My final mention of influence is Bram Stoker himself.
The name.
We love the man here, Bram Stoker, who decided to make his Abraham Stoker his Mary Sue OC self-insert.
Yeah.
Abraham Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Who we will get into more as a character as we go on, but I just want everyone here to know that making your Mary Sue OC self-insert has always been a thing.
Yes!
And we love and encourage it.
Like, creativity has always been the same. Like, people have always been cringe. It's great.
We have always been cringe.
That's what it means to be human. Like,
and it's how we get classics. The horror classics. Did you go, what if I knew every language in the whole world and had 40 doctorates? And I know I was a medical genius, but also I knew about the supernatural sometimes. Yeah. And that's how I helped save the day.
It's fun.
No, it's not actually me. It's, I'm not Abraham. It's not Abraham. His name is Bram. Or no, it's not Bram, it's Abraham, and it's not Stoker, it's Van Helsing. So it's fine. It's not me. But I love it. I love it so much. It's so funny to me. He's just this old professor guy.
Yeah.
I love him dearly. Anyway, now we can get on to the other stuff. Those were my only notes on the inspirations, but I love them so much.
Yeah, it's a cultural reset for sure. Like, Dracula has just inspired so many things, and it's still very prevalent in our culture today. Absolutely. I just actually finished reading the book for the first time. I've been trying to read it for like a year or two, and I finally got through it. It's so hard for me to read books nowadays.
That's fair.
But I got through it because I went on vacation and I read it. So.
Nice. I think I read it once back in like high school.
We never had to read it in school. So
no, that was like the time. That was just the time period in which I picked up the book.
Gotcha, yeah.
And not for school, just that was when.
My mom had to read it for school. We were talking about that.
That'd be a fun thing too.
Right?
And then I picked it up again recently with Dracula Daily.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Which
was,
God, if y'all aren't aware of Dracula Daily or regarding Dracula, if you want to get into this book and have not yet before, highly recommend those as a good method.
It's not the same order as the book.
Exactly. Yeah. You will not be reading them in the order that the book has them.
Because the book is non-linear. Yes. For multiple reasons, and like the R.E. Dracula and Dracula Daily does it in the linear order.
Yeah. The book is an epistolary novel. Yeah. So everything's journal entries, letters, ship's logs, that kind of thing. And so Dracula Daily and Regarding Dracula, which is essentially just the podcast version of Dracula Daily.
Yeah.
Fantastic voice acting, fantastic soundscaping. Highly recommend.
I need to listen to it because
so good. Oh my God, Quincy.
Yeah.
Quincy. Fantastic
But voice. It's like, don't expect Dracula in podcast form. Like,
no, they just take all the logs and letters and stuff and put them in the order of like the calendar year.
Yeah. Like,
so you will get like, in Dracula Daily, they email you that day's letters or journal entries. And so it's in calendar order, not the book order.
Yeah.
So it's truly up to you and like your preference, obviously.
I mean, personally, I always told Hunter, like, I'm going to read the book first and then I will listen because I want to experience the, like, original work.
That's fair.
Because, like, if things are published, like, non-linearly, it's usually for, like, a reason, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, they do it for dramatic effect or suspense or whatever. So I wanted to get that first before doing it in order, like, listening to it.
That's fair.
That's what I recommend, but if you can't read the book because it's a little hard to read, like the English 1897. It's a bit hard to read,
especially when you're like the scenes in the like the cemetery with that really old man that Mina and Lucy are talking to. It's all written like it's written in the dialect, so
so it's like, hard to decipher.
Words are not words.
No, it's very hard to decipher.
It was like, I remember even just reading with, because it was, I was on my second time, so I was like, I'll just do Dracula Daily. That sounds like a fun thing.
Yeah, the email.
And you get to the parts where it's like, this old man from God knows where, and he is talking with, I don't even know what accent it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And even Mina's like, I'm just trying to jot down what I heard in my journal, and it's almost unintelligible. Honestly, regarding Dracula helped me to figure it out a little better, but even then it was still tricky.
But that's like the only thing that's really hard.
Truly,
like, is
like,
the
that's
speaking.
The worst. Yeah.
But like, if you read it, like, it's really easy to understand for me at least. Like, reading Jane Austen and Wuthering Heights, those are way harder for me to read. Like, I cannot. It's very hard for me to understand those. So
that's fair.
It was a lot easier to figure out what was going on in Dracula.
Stoker keeps the plot moving very quickly.
Yeah,
he's never like
clear in describing what's happening.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, it's good.
To be underwhelming, he's good.
Yeah. So the general story of Dracula is Dracula like lives in a castle in Transylvania, and he wants to like buy a house in London and come over and move. And to do this, he like gets the real estate agent to come to him, and that's Jonathan Harker. And Jonathan is like engaged at this point to Mina. So it's like Jonathan suffers in the castle and like escapes.
You're just some guy. You're just some real estate.
Yeah.
And your boss is like, hi, so we have a weird Eastern European nobleman who wants to move here. You need to go to his castle to get him to sign the paperwork.
And he's like,
have fun. And then he's just in the castle for like a month?
At least.
You're just some real estate agent trapped in the castle.
The horror is ramped up when he's in the castle. I love it. I love it.
It starts so slow, and then all of a sudden it's just like
horror.
Bang! It's all there.
It's great, honestly. I love that
it's
part.
Horrendous. It's so good.
It's so good. And then he escapes, and then like Dracula and him like make their way to London eventually, and then like Mina meets up with Jonathan, but also Mina has a friend named Lucy, and Lucy like gets like she gets like killed basically by Dracula and like gets turned
despite all the efforts of her 3 boyfriends.
They tried very much.
And Van Helsing.
Yeah, so that's sad.
It's like I do want to touch briefly on Mina going to get to Jonathan in like
Romania or something.
Yeah, somewhere like Romania. Yeah. Because like he falls off the side of the castle into a ravine.
And then he like washes up next to like a monastery. A convent.
And the nuns are there trying to help this poor man who washed up on their shores who's like babbling nonsense about the horrors he's faced.
Yeah.
But the thing they hear most and like most frequently is Mina's name.
Yeah.
He's like not conscious, but he keeps saying Mina's name. They manage to contact Mina.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Jonathan's boss who contacted Mina. I don't remember. Somehow they're able to get in contact with Mina. Mina travels to Romania, finds him. He wakes up.
They get married there.
Get married immediately.
Like there.
He's not even out of the sick bed yet. And they have the nuns or the priest who works with the nuns marry them immediately.
Yeah.
Because Jonathan is the ultimate wife guy. And Mina is like so absolutely besotted with her husband.
Yeah.
And they're
very
love
much in
will
love.
Conquer all with these two, and I love them so much.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I cannot. One of the first things we learn about Jonathan at the very beginning is that he loves his fiancée so much that he is like taking down the recipes of every food he eats while he travels because Mina might like to try it later.
Yeah, it's cute.
He loves his wife or his fiance and then his wife so much.
Yeah, it's cute.
And I will never get over it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we get back to Lucy and her 3 boyfriends.
Yeah, and then she dies
after
marrying one of them.
Yeah, there's Arthur, who is
a lord.
Yeah, his father dies like right in the middle of all this chaos.
Before Lucy dies, I think.
Lord Arthur Godalming.
Yeah.
There is Jack, another John, by the way. Jack
Seward.
Jack Seward, who is a doctor,
psychiatrist,
a psychiatrist with real sketchy morals, but all psychiatrists had morals
back then.
Real sketchy morals at the time. Also, the world's biggest nerd. And then my favorite, Quincy, who is a cowboy
from Texas.
And for some reason, he does know about vampires. He's not the one to bring them up, but once it gets mentioned, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen those."
I mean, I feel like even at that time, it was a whole like myth for everyone.
I'm pretty sure he says something about like, "Oh yeah, we've dealt with those back in Texas." He's just like, "Oh yeah, we have some of those that like fed on our cattle." Like he's dealt with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Quincy, what?
Yeah. Which is funny because it's before the whole chupacabra thing happened. That's very modern, but it's like that's basically the same thing.
It is. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what's being referred to, like, vaguely.
But it's like that happened like 100 years after, so...
But like the same, like, source or, like, issue that led to it's like the same thing. But they're like, stuff. Maybe there's vampires in Texas.
Yeah. So, but Quincy's cool.
Quincy is a delight. He's just a sweetie.
Yeah.
And then Jack calls in his old teacher,
Abraham
Von Helsing.
To try to figure out what the fuck's going on with Lucy.
Yeah, who keeps, like, they just call her anemic for a while.
Yeah, because she's low on blood.
Yeah, she, like, is having trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
Each of the suitors give her their blood.
Yeah.
At various times. They're doing everything they can to keep her alive.
Yeah.
Van Helsing makes, like, a wreath of garlic to, like, we gotta keep the window shut. She's gotta keep the garlic on.
Yeah.
We keep giving her fresh blood every morning. And then unfortunately...
someone takes the garlic off.
Yeah, Lucy's mom.
Yeah, she takes
bless
the garlic
her heart.
off, yeah.
She thinks she's helping, unfortunately. And then she is scared to death when opening the window to let in fresh air.
Yeah.
And then I believe a wolf jumps through the window.
Probably.
I think a wolf
Dracula form.
Dracula throws a wolf through the window.
Yeah, throws the wolf.
Because I remember being like, that is... Just go through... You don't have to throw a wolf in.
Yeah.
But he throws a wolf... Did you know Dracula's a comedy?
Dracula is so funny, actually.
Dracula's actually a comedy?
Yeah, it's great. A horror comedy, as all good horror movies are.
He climbs out his window in a lizard-like fashion.
The lizard is so
funny. Through the window.
And then he, like, picks up all his coins like a goblin. Like.
The man is honestly deranged. I truly love him.
Yeah.
He's so... He's dumb.
And, like, something about Dracula specifically, like, in the book, that I think is cool is, like, the vampire lore at the time it was written is, like, I mean, of course, like, way different than our vampire lore today. Yeah. So it's really cool to see, like, how they describe it and, like, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. Yeah. And they describe him as, like, at the time that he was turned into a vampire, like, he basically was, like, dead. So, like, since then, he's been, like, a child, like, learning to be smart again and, like, building his strength and stuff. So it's, like, he's not automatically super strong. It's like, that's why he's a bit stupid, because he can't, like, think things through yet. Like,
yeah, he has to, like, rebuild everything.
Yes, exactly, which is so very interesting. Yeah. And not at all like we think of vampires. So.
Yeah, we just assumed that they were, like, they're just who they were at death and just continue.
And, like, enhance. Yeah, exactly. So, super interesting. But after Lucy dies, everyone is sad, and then
so fucking sad.
And then Mina and Jonathan come back, and then they're like, "Oh, this is the same thing." Like,
Jonathan's, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah,
you gotta be kidding me. I just got away from this guy.
Yeah, and then they figure out Lucy turned into a vampire, and so they go to stop her. Yeah, and they, like, cut off her head.
The suitors in Van Helsing do have to go kill Lucy.
That's a great scene.
Truly devastating.
Yeah. So then they're full on the Dracula hunt at this point, which is great. They're all banded together now.
Yeah, I remember during the first year of Dracula Daily, first of all, the memes were flying. Every day you got, like, a new whole round of memes. They were delightful. But I did come up with one shortly after the boys killed Lucy, and then Mina arrived on the scene with the boys, because it was like, the boys... Oh no, I just killed the love of our lives. I will never have hope again. There is no happiness. The world is over. it's not worth living. And then Mina appears, and then the boys, life is worth living. There will be a happy ending. There's nothing but happiness in this world.
Okay.
Because it's like, Mina just shows up, and then she's just like, hi, have you considered reading your notes? Hi, have you considered I've memorized the train schedules? Hi, have you considered, Jack, your buddy in your thing is actually relevant. Hi, have you considered
she's
actually
putting it all together?
Your notes.
Yeah, like, she's putting it together.
Have you considered using your brains? And they're like, we have hope again.
Yeah.
This woman is a miracle.
Yeah.
Jonathan, don't ever let anything happen to her. Yeah. And they just like make her the like light that shines for them.
Yeah.
And Mina's incredible. She's like honest. She's perfect. Yeah. Mina is perfect. And I love her.
Yeah.
And all the boys do too.
Mm-hmm. So the rest of the book is like chasing and fighting Dracula, and it's exciting.
It is. There's a lot of craziness that goes on.
Yeah, and then like Dracula bites Mina, and so like she's starting to turn into a vampire too, and they're like racing against time. Yeah. And they like destroy all of his coffins in like England, so he has to flee back to Transylvania, so they like follow him. And at the same time, like, Mina is, like, turning into a vampire slowly, so...
Which they do utilize. They realize that she has this, like, psychic connection to Dracula, so they're like, okay, here's the deal. We're gonna hypnotize you so you're further connected to him. Yeah. And we're gonna ask you questions about what he's seeing.
Yeah.
And that helps him, like, track down a little closer, like...
A little bit.
Like, a little bit on, like, how close he is to home, how far away they are from him.
Yeah.
And that's super fun.
Yeah.
They also realize, like... I mean... Again, reminding you, Jonathan is a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. He's just a normal-ass white boy who sells property.
Yeah.
He's not even, like, a partner in his firm. He's just, like, a guy.
Yeah.
And he goes to Mina, and he's like, hi, Mina, I am not going to let this happen to you. We are going to save your life. And she's like, it's too late for me, Jonathan. Just let me go. Or just kill me so I won't be a part of this evil. And he's like, I would never kill you, ever. If you're going to join this evil, I'm going with you. Yeah. We are a bonded pair. Do not separate.
Yeah.
And, like, hardcore. And I love these two.
Yeah, they're good.
He also, for some reason, has a kukri knife. And he will fuck you up with it.
I don't even know what that is. Is that a Bowie knife?
It's like this curved knife. It kind of... I will show you pictures. I'll post one in the Discord.
Is it small?
No.
Okay.
They are these very intimidating looking knives, actually.
Okay.
But he looks like... Considering how unintimidating I have always pictured him.
No, for sure.
He's walking around with, like, this very intimidating knife.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it's the old and it's always specified that he's carrying around a kukri knife. And he's like, yes, I was like a normal man until 2 weeks ago, and now I am hunting monsters.
Yeah,
and I will fuck him up. And I did stab him enough that I made this like centuries old supernatural creeper. He is a creeper. Book it and run for me through the streets of London.
Yeah,
and it's like. This vampire literally was like, I'm born in Transylvania. I'm going to go take over London. And he's like, these people have modern technology and real estate agents. I'm scared. I'm going home.
And he was just, like, too ambitious. Like, he hurt too many people, and they all were, like, catching on and, like, actually, we hate you. Like, what the fuck?
I think it's just that he was, like, so used to being in Transylvania.
Yeah.
And the people there were already afraid. Not to mention he had, like, nobility working for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas he comes to, like,
he can't
England,
do whatever he wants now.
Where people, they have nobility. Yeah. Who are also, like, a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any power. People don't know who he is. They don't know to be afraid of him.
They're not afraid of him.
And he has so many limitations on his power.
Yeah, exactly.
Garlic, the sunlight, moving water.
Yeah.
And he's just like, that guy can just run around with a knife? Mm-hmm. And that guy's got a lot of money too?
Yeah, he's not used to being opposed.
I'm going home where I can scare the villagers by looking at them and stealing their babies. And it's like, yeah, dude, why did you leave?
Yeah.
Like, you have power there. You don't have power here. Yeah. You have to run to your castle to sleep on dirt at night.
Yeah.
You sleep on dirt. He had no idea what he was getting into, and that's so funny.
Yeah. So that's how the book is. Eventually they follow him and they kill him, and it's great. So
and no one dies.
Okay.
I'm living in denial. No one dies. It's fine.
Yeah.
And all vampire stories should have a cowboy in it.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of those cowboys
they
should all live.
Yes, for sure. So, great book. Highly recommend.
Absolutely wonderful. Definitely worth reading.
So I wrote down all of, like, the adaptations that I know / care about.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, there's so many. So
there's a ton.
Yeah.
Did you get, what was it? Last Journey of the Demeter or whatever?
Yes,
the one
I put that on here, yeah.
Because I entirely forgot about that until, literally
we watched
today.
it recently.
We did. It was 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Recently to me.
I mean, it was a fun movie. It was also, like, ridiculous.
It was, they got his, like, character design.
His design was not accurate.
I was like, this makes no sense in the context of the story.
Right? If there was a Romani woman on the ship, it would have been mentioned in the captain's log.
And, like, also, he doesn't fucking look like that. Like, he doesn't look like that.
If the captain's son was on the ship, it would have been in the captain's log.
It's whatever, but we'll get there. I'm going chronologically.
Yes. Yeah, please do. Absolutely.
The first adaptation I super care about is Nosferatu in 1922. So this is like 25 years after the book came out.
I would love to go back and watch that one.
I like it. It's a silent movie. It's German. Murnau did it. Murnau. I don't know how to say his name.
Sure.
The reason why Nosferatu is so tied to Dracula and, like, we're doing it together is, like, it's legitimately, like, a ripoff of Dracula. It's the German ripoff of Dracula.
Yeah.
And that's because, first of all, the German filmmakers made it, so they wanted to, like, Germanify it. And also, like, they didn't really have the rights for Dracula, so they had to, like, change the names and the setting. But it's literally the same fucking story.
If I may, I wrote up a direct connection.
Yes, please give it to us.
Now, I don't know if these are exactly the same names as they were in the OG, but at least in the most recent one. So Mina Harker, Nay Murray, is Ellen Hutter in Nosferatu.
I think it might be the same.
Jonathan Harker is Thomas Hutter.
Yeah.
Lucy Westenra is Anna Harding.
Yeah.
Arthur Godalming / Holmwood is Friedrich Harding. Jack Seward is Dr. Wilhelm Sievers.
Yeah.
Van Helsing is Dr. Albin Eberhard von Franz. And to be fair, I did appreciate that they made him a disgraced doctor who was into the occult in this one, instead of just being like a doctor who was like, also, I know about vampires for some reason. Yeah, they make him
more extreme.
Yeah, it makes sense for this guy. Count Dracula is Count Orlok. And then Renfield and Jonathan's boss got combined into the character of Knock.
Yeah,
which I thought was a very interesting combo there. I liked that, actually. That kept things interesting.
That's the recent one, at least.
At the very least, yes.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the 22 movie. I definitely know that Ellen and Thomas are in it. And I assume that Von Franz is in it too, but I don't really remember.
Okay.
So they're both definitely in it because the whole storyline is like a real estate agent goes to Transylvania, meets the vampire, like the vampire's coming back to Europe,
to
Germany instead of England. Like, it's the same fucking story. It's great. And the character design for Count Orlok in the Nosferatu movie is great. Like, he's got a snaggletooth, like his ears and his eyebrows, and he looks great. Like,
it's such a fun look.
It is a fun look. It's very iconic.
I mean, if you guys have watched SpongeBob, you've seen it.
Yes.
Like, that was definitely my first encounter.
Oh,
it was
really?
Like the hash slinging slasher.
I'm sure
like,
it was.
Nosferatu, flicking on the lights and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, which is such a silly thing. And I was like, I don't know who this man is. I don't know why you're in. And then later on, I was like, oh, this is like a classic traditional monster.
Classic,
like, I get it. But yeah, that was...
It's great.
But of course, I encountered it in SpongeBob as, like, you know, a child or whatever.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so in, I want to say the 20s, like, Bram Stoker's wife got like Widow at this point because he had died. Like she got super pissed at them for making this movie out of copyright, so she sued them and she won.
As she should.
So like
it's blatant plagiarism.
Yeah, so it's like they were ordered to like destroy all the copies of it, but thankfully some survived. So we can still watch it. We can still watch it. But like that's legitimately like how Nosferatu was born. So I think that's great. And then, moving on from Nosferatu, the next one that I care about again is
there's so many things.
There's so many. No, the major one I care about is the original Dracula movie in 1931 with what's his name?
Oh God!
I didn't write his name down because I thought I would remember it.
It's. Oh my God! I have a name in my head and I know it's wrong, so I'm not gonna say it and embarrass myself. I'm Googling.
Bela Lugosi.
Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
Bela Lugosi. So,
I'm pretty sure I saw this one.
Yeah. So Bela Lugosi is also,
Bela Lugosi is great.
I think he was also
such a distinct look.
Might have also been the Wolfman.
That sounds right.
I'm not exactly sure. Maybe not.
God, and that like classic black and white photo with the like light coming across his eyes.
So iconic. So good.
We're now just both sitting on like our phone and laptop, like looking
up
photos of Dracula. Oh, look at this great one of him with his like dramatic ass cloak in the like tux. Like, hell yeah, Dracula.
OG I recommend everyone read and watch all of these that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So that's great. But I definitely really liked the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi. I think it's good. Yes, it is Bela Lugosi and the Wolfman.
Oh,
he's
nice.
in the Wolfman.
Hell yeah. Writing down all the things we said we'd put in the Discord.
I don't know if he is the Wolfman, but he is in that movie. He's in that movie. I knew it.
He's in so many of the good like classic.
Yeah, he's also Igor in Frankenstein. So
I need to watch more of the classics.
Yeah,
I have an old DVD set of like 100 classic horror movies, but a lot of them are just like things I've never heard of in my life. A lot of them are like ones you know, but then a lot of them are like this. Surely no one saw this.
That's cool. Actually, I watched like almost all of them when I had COVID for the first time. Except
that's a good way to spend it. Yeah.
The library didn't have the Wolfman movie,
no,
so
I'll bring over my DVD set.
Well, I currently requested it from the interlibrary loan, so it should be in the works for me to get that. But I've seen like the bigger ones. So.
Well, if you want some obscure ones, I'll bring my DVD
that'd be
set
cool.
because it's not like I can watch them at my house right now.
Yeah.
So.
But
we'll do that sometime.
Yeah,
maybe we can do an episode on them.
Yeah, the classic ones. But
that'll be fun.
The OG Dracula is really good.
Absolutely.
It's that iconic shot is just classic.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's just like it captures the essence. It's
yeah, and it's really good black and white as well. Like the way that they do the lighting is really good. Like I'm even just thinking about like in Dracula's like castle. And, like, his new castle in England, like, just thinking of, like, how they walk around in it and, like, the way that they do the light in those scenes are really, really good.
Oh, yeah, it's so dramatic. It gives him that, like, dramatic silhouette up on the walls and all of that. It's great.
It's really good. Okay, and so the one after that I am distantly aware of is I've never seen this. I also tried to get this from a library, but nobody had it, so I'm probably gonna have to buy it for like $4. But I didn't get to the chance to do that before this episode. But it is the 1958 Dracula with Christopher Lee as Dracula.
See, I have seen that one.
I have not seen it. And
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and Peter Cushing is in it as well, who's also in Star Wars.
That was a good one.
So I need to watch that because it's like I've seen like the American classic monster movies. And just now, like, before we record this episode, I was like, oh, I knew Christopher Lee was in, like, the British Dracula. Yeah. But then I figured out that they made a British mummy in the 50s. I did not know about that. And he is also in that. So I'm like, I had no idea this existed because it's, like, British and not American. Yeah. So I'm like, well, now I need to watch that, too.
Yeah, I was not aware of the mummy.
No, so apparently there was, like, a classic horror monster movies, like British.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well now we're gonna have to watch all that, because I'm pretty sure they did their own version of Frankenstein too in the 50s.
Fascinating.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. So I'm like, we need to watch those now. That's super cool. So yeah, he's in that one in the 50s. Need to watch that.
I do remember really enjoying those. They were fun.
Good.
I might be mixing up that one in the 30s. Is the 50s the one where they also had the armadillos wandering around because they were exotic animals? That might have been the 30s.
That might have been the 30s one. I just don't remember
reading. It's been long enough that I don't remember.
Yeah,
but I know at least one of them. They were like,
they had armadillos.
They count as exotic animals. They're like, sure, that'll be in Transylvania. That'll make people think this is a different place.
Meanwhile, people in Texas watching this movie are like, why the fuck are there armadillos? It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so silly.
It's great. Movie magic.
Such a good time.
Yes, that happened in the 50s, and then I'm skipping to the 90s. I know there was a Dracula movie in the 70s. I don't know a lot about it. I don't really care.
You know what happened. It's there. You can jump
I don't know what it's about.
We don't have an opinion here.
No. So I only know the next one in the timeline is Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think is what it's called.
I believe so.
Yeah. Yes. So this one is in 92. And I actually really like this movie.
Is that the one that we watched last year?
Yes, I made Hunter watch it because I think it's more like true to the actual book in a lot of ways, because it had him doing the climbing in the lizard fashion.
They really did.
They did that. They did a few other things, but
they did have some they did a lot of fun stuff that they did keep very true to the books.
Yeah, they did change a lot, but I thought it was fun, and also Gary Oldman looks really good as Dracula.
Yes.
Young Gary Oldman, he's great.
The old Dracula is truly wild. They made his head look like a heart shape.
His hair is so crazy. I'm like, who designed that?
To be fair, I do believe Dracula's description in the book is explained as a very high forehead and white hair.
But he also had a mustache, and they didn't give him a mustache.
No one gives him the mustache except for Nosferatu.
In the most recent one, but it's not the white bushy one. He just had a normal mustache. So.
Everyone's a coward. They will not give Dracula a mustache except for young Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Which I think doesn't count because they didn't give it to him at the beginning.
Exactly. They didn't give him the white bushy one.
No, give this man come on.
But I really like the 92 one because Mina is Winona Ryder, who's great, and also Jonathan is Keanu Reeves, who I love. And
wonderful.
I think he does a 10 out of 10.
He does
Jonathan, pathetic, wet rat of a man. I think they did great.
Who will stab you with his knife.
Yeah, I think he did a great job, and I think there's Winona and Keanu are still friends after that movie.
I do believe so. Yeah.
And they joke that they're married because Mina and Jonathan get married in the movie, so
spouses.
It's really cute. I really like that movie for them. Yeah, there's this weird. They make it very romantic of Mina is reincarnated Dracula's wife and
that
stuff.
Felt odd to me. That was a choice.
They have to make it romantic, I guess, but
they don't have to.
They don't have to, but that's the change they chose to do. I'm like, okay,
it's all right. Sure.
Both of them are a bit pretty, so I'll allow it, I guess.
You're pretty, so we will allow it.
It's fine, whatever. But I like that movie.
I enjoyed it. The reincarnation plotline is not my favorite, but I did very much enjoy the rest of the movie.
Yeah, so
and they actually included the missing wolf plotline, which no one else does.
Yeah,
so
they included a lot of stuff from the book that nobody else did.
Yeah, aside from the reincarnation thing, everything else was very,
it was pretty
accurate.
good.
So
I like it a lot.
Support it.
I also I'm thinking of this one scene in the beginning when Jonathan's visiting the castle, they show, of course, like the candlelight against Dracula on the wall, and his shadow is moving differently than he's moving.
Yes,
and
I love that. That was so cool.
I love that so much. Like, it's just so well done.
They did a lot of fun stuff.
It's so good.
Anthony Hopkins is Van Helsing, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. I love Anthony Hopkins.
And also fucking Carrie Elwes.
Yeah.
He is Arthur. And I love that guy so much. I love Carrie.
Is always a delight.
Yeah, Carrie Elwes is great.
Even when he's playing like an asshole,
he is amazing.
And he does so good at that. Yeah. He's still just such a delight.
I love him so much, so he's a highlight of the movie as well.
The movie is so well cast is the thing.
It's so fun. Like, it's a fun movie. There is one scene in it that I physically cannot watch, but the rest of it's good.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, so that one's good. And then I skipped forward to The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes. Which, okay, very fun creature feature.
Yeah.
Did enjoy.
Yeah.
Why did they make him look like that?
He just looks like wrinkly and old and like a creature. He doesn't look like a man, which like
he's a man.
He is a man.
He's like a man.
Yeah, he is a man.
He's just like a dead man, not a gargoyle.
So it's... But
if you just take it as like, this is just a scary monster.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah.
So like we had fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Great time.
Yeah, I had fun for sure. Like, it was fun, but it was also like when they first showed what he looked like, I'm like, he doesn't fucking look like that.
I was like, that's supposed to just be a dead man in a box.
Like, that is not Dracula. And also, like, after if he did look like that, he would look normal by the first person he killed.
Like he should have fixed it.
Yeah, it was so fucking stupid. That was my biggest complaint about that movie.
Yeah, I mean, truly, it was like just the fact that they made him into a creature.
Yeah, he's not a creature.
Like, that was our only complaint.
Yeah,
that was it.
But the rest of it was good because like the Demeter ship voyage gets like skipped over in a lot of the movies.
Yeah,
so
almost no one touches it.
Yeah, so it's good that they did a whole movie about that.
Yeah,
yeah,
because no one wants to deal with that when they want to deal with like the main characters of Jonathan and the suitors and everyone like. Which I get, like, that's the heart of the story. Right. But it's also, like...
The horror of being trapped in, like, people being picked off.
Picked off one by one. Yeah. And you read the captain's log, and it is terrifying.
It is terrifying. It's like, today we lost this person. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who's next, you know?
You're like, in a dead sea.
It's
like, a dead calm.
Yeah.
And one by one, your crew are disappearing. And you're the captain. You are responsible for these men. And you don't know what's happening.
It's great.
That is horrific.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, they did raise the stakes a little in that the captain had brought his grandson? In
the movie?
Yeah.
I think it's his grandson.
So his grandson is on the ship too, so he's now responsible for his grandson as well. So they did raise the stakes.
The grandson's the first person who dies.
It was just like so...
I'm like, they killed the kid first!
So like, it's like... It made for the perfect setting for a horror
good
movie. So it's very fun.
And the main guy, the captain, is Davos in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so he was fun to see him. Liam Cunningham, I think, is his name. So
and then like, yeah, it's just that it's like a gargoyle instead of like a man that's which in some ways is scarier because they're dealing with an inhuman creature.
But it's not true to the book, which is what we love. So
it's like you should have just made this like these are people on a boat.
I would have liked it if they did it like Mummy style of like throughout points of the movie he gets more human. Yeah. Like that would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I could see that working.
Yeah.
He's gone long enough without and also the fact that he is on moving water, which we know weakens him. So like that would make sense.
Yeah.
But no, they're just like, this is a monster, and then like you get this clip of him at the end.
I was about to say the end is so good.
Which is like very nice, and but you do see him like just as a man.
Yeah, so it's like
so why was he a gargoyle?
Yeah, stupid. But the end was really good.
The end was really
because
delightful.
There's one survivor of the ship, and like he like clocks it. Like
he's
can
like,
tell
there is something
he's
about
in
that
here.
Man.
Like it was really good. So
really good.
That was a great end scene.
It was really great. I remember being like, okay, I had doubts, but like that was
a great ending.
You closed it out very well.
Yeah, it was a good ending. So and you don't see like Dracula's face; you just see kind of silhouette. So it's really good.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Skipping backwards because I forgot to mention this one. Dracula Untold 2014.
Oh,
Have you seen that
one? No.
Okay, I've seen this multiple times because it used to be on TV a lot. What's his name? Luke Evans, I think is his name, is Dracula.
Sure.
He's in the Hobbit movies. He is Bard.
Oh,
that guy.
Yes.
That
okay,
guy.
Yes. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's Dracula in Dracula Untold, and this is about, like, Vlad Tepes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and, like, how he turns into Dracula. So I think that's a great movie. It's like an action movie. It's fun. Like, a really good part of this movie, also Game of Thrones connection, is he turns into a vampire because he finds, like, the oldest vampire. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, there's a rumor that this vampire guy, like, lives in the caves over there.
Yeah.
And he, like, goes to try to get the vampire and, like, get the vampirism because he wants to defeat, like, the Turks, I think it is.
Yeah, that's
like the conflict between Vlad Tepes and the Turks, I'm pretty sure, someone like that. Yeah. So he, like, goes to get, like, a battle ability, and when he goes in there, it's legitimately a cave at, like, the side of the cliff, and all his guys with him get killed. Naturally. And then the vampire comes out, and it's fucking Charles Dance. I love Charles Dance, and he looks so badass as, like, this, like, the oldest vampire in the world. He is so cool. And he's got super long fingernails, so he's, like, cunty. I love him.
Naturally.
I love him. So I will watch that scene just for him. Like, I love him.
Screw the rest of the movie. I just love
that. I just love him in that movie. So watch that movie just for him, legitimately.
Amazing. Okay.
Because
I don't think I'd ever even heard of it before.
Yes, it's great. So at the end of that movie, like, Dracula is a vampire, and so, like, he is immortal. So it, like, jumps from, like, the 1300s to, like, 2020, like, modern times. And he's just, like, walking around. He, like, meets this lady, like, in the market, and it's, like, his reincarnated wife.
Sure.
As we have that trope now.
Naturally, yeah.
And
we all know, Dracula's wife always gets reincarnated.
Yeah, now. And then, like, the camera pans over, and fucking Charles Dance is sitting there. I'm like, have you been stalking him for 700 years?
Of course he has! What else would he do? This man has nothing to... He's lived in a cave! Now he has something to do!
He just stalks him the whole time. And I think his fingernails are still long and cunty, so...
Excellent!
It's just amazing.
Now he has modern manicures to take care of them.
It's just so good. I just love that end scene. It's like the implications.
That's so funny.
I will watch it just for his scenes, like the beginning and the end.
That's so funny.
So recommend that movie. That one's fun.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about... See, I'd seen the first... Or not seen it and watched, but, like, seen references to the first in this trilogy. I did not realize it was a trilogy until just this moment. There's a Wes Craven trilogy of Dracula movies.
No.
Dracula 2000, Dracula 2 Ascension, and Dracula 3 Legacy.
Okay, I've heard of Dracula 2000, but I've never seen it, and I have no idea what it's about.
Okay.
Is it in 2000? It's not, right?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure this is the one in, like, the 70s that I was like, I know about it, but I've never seen it.
It's possible because it's got, like, baby Gerard Butler in it.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I was just curious if
like
you
the
knew
80s or 90s then. I do not know anything about it.
Well, wait, hang on. No, because
What's the year?
That says 2000 right there.
I don't know anything about that movie.
I'm going to look into this because...
I'm going to Google it.
Okay, let's see. Hang on. Join us, listeners, as we Google before your very ears. Yeah, that says 2000.
It is 2000. It is 2000.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll have to watch this one because Christopher Plummer is Van Helsing.
This is
interesting.
Absolutely. Johnny Lee Miller is in it? Oh my god.
Oh, the plot follows Dracula, who arrives in New Orleans. Oh,
New Orleans.
Oh,
Nathan
love New
Fillion's
Orleans.
in here.
So the vampire city. So
good lord.
Yeah, I'll watch that. What's it on? Let me check the phone. I'll have to get it through. Let me know
if this is like any good, because I can't tell if it looks good or absolute
Young Gerard
shit.
Butler looks pretty good.
He looks like an infant in those pictures. Like, what was that?
It's like, I don't know if I've ever seen him clean shaven, you
That's
know?
a good point. Maybe he just always looks like that under the beard.
I'll check it out. I've never seen it.
Please do.
I'll have to check out what the fucking 70s one is that's like on my mind.
Sorry to interrupt your list.
No, it's fine.
I just it caught my eye.
Yeah, the only one I was gonna like say after that, so Renfield came out a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I always meant to watch that. I
watched it. It was a lot more brutal and gory than I expected. So it's very gory, like graphically gory. Yeah. But Nicolas Cage does a great job as Dracula. He's very fun.
I love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Like, he was a meme for so long, and then I, like, actually started watching some of his, like, less advertised stuff. I'm like, this guy is actually fantastic.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Like, what?
No,
he's really good?
My mom, like, unironically loves Nicolas Cage and has loved him since the 80s. So.
I actually watched Raising Arizona, which is not one of the, like, lesser known ones.
No,
that's one of
I
his
like
more
that
known
one.
ones, but, like, I watched that for the first time recently, and I was like,
have you seen Moonstruck?
So I've not.
That's like my mom's favorite movie. It has Nicolas Cage and Cher.
Oh my God.
Main couple.
Okay. Adding that to my list immediately.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
No, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great in the Renfield movie. Also, Nicholas Hoult is Renfield.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go Nicholas Hoult. He's been in 2 Dracula movies.
Yes.
He's great.
So the thing is, like, I think Nicholas Hoult does well in the roles he plays, but they all seem to kind of just be the same guy.
Just like a pathetic guy.
He's just like a sad, pathetic guy.
That's his typecast.
Like, that's just it. He's just a sad, pathetic guy.
Yeah, and even in X-Men.
Like, exactly. He's just kind of like a sad, pathetic guy.
And I think he's Lex Luthor in the new or something, so we'll see how he is in that, but
it looks like he's just gonna be like a tech bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which, to be fair, is like fair.
He was good in Mad Max. He was, I mean,
that's a good point. He was very good in Mad Max.
Sad.
Again, a sad, pathetic guy.
But different vibe.
But like a different brand of sad.
Different brand,
guy.
Yeah.
But still, that's within his realm.
No, it is. So, but yeah, he's cool. That was a good movie.
And not to say that he's like I said, he's very good. I've not ever had a complaint. But it's like, it's just a very specific line of characters.
No, it definitely is. So. I haven't seen him in the TV show The Great, but I think he's like more of an asshole in that one.
Oh, that was him in The Great.
Yeah, I haven't seen it because I feel like it would be too much for me. But
it's like
a lot. Just for me specifically.
It's just there's a lot of talk about sex.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't like it
so much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Constant. That's like. It's very, very funny, but it is
very sexual.
Near constant sexual. So if it's not like sex actually happening, it's just constant talk about it.
Yeah, so no thank you, but like I've heard
there's also a lot of political intrigue, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's like still nearly constantly revolving around the marriage.
No, for sure.
So yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, but I heard he was good in that, so
I did hate him so much in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he did a good job.
So I take it back. He doesn't only play. I mean, he's still pretty pathetic in that. He's not
a pathetic asshole,
but he's so pathetic.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
he can be anything as long as he's pathetic.
Yeah, it's great. So jumping off of that to the most recent interpretation of Dracula, the new Nosferatu movie that came out this Christmas. 10 out of 10. I liked it a lot.
I had so much fun with that.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was very horror, but like not overwhelming.
Yeah, it was also like classic horror.
It was classic and like not too sexual for me, which is nice for me specifically. Like it was very nice.
It's just that you say that because I was like, they really got into like the like classic like very sexual side of horror. Not in it's sexual horror as in we get into like the drama of sex.
Yeah, it wasn't like
that.
But
it was like.
It was a part
things are sexy here in this horror.
It's more of like the repressed sexuality.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is good. Like I liked it because it wasn't sexual trauma. I wouldn't have been able to deal with that.
It's not the horror of sex.
Yeah,
it's that this horror is sexy.
Yeah, exactly. It's sexy. So
this is some real sexy horror going on here, babe.
Yeah, and like the sexual parts that did happen, like were not too much. Like it was very quick and like
balanced.
It was very nice. So not bad at all with that for me. So
fun fact about that.
Yeah,
Nicholas Hoult has Orlok's penis.
Oh, good for him. Yeah. Good for him. The prosthetic.
Because like his entire body almost was covered in prosthetic because the man was a walking corpse.
Yeah, they had to do the makeup and all that.
Yeah. So
just like in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Vecna.
Yeah, so like the penis that we see distantly and like
You see it.
It's not like right up close, but it is there.
You can tell.
It is there. I don't remember where I said, but no, it was gifted to him.
Oh, it was gifted.
I want to say by Eggers himself, but I don't remember for sure.
That's funny.
Robert Eggers, the director.
Yeah.
Who also directed the Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman.
Yeah.
There's been talk, I think, of him doing...
He's gonna do a werewolf one.
The Rasputin miniseries, a Western, and then also this werewolf thing.
Yeah.
Those are like 4 potential like next projects.
Can't wait for the Rasputin one.
Right? That was one that was apparently like given the green light and then pulled back.
No!
So like it's like it's still on his radar, but like it's not like a current project anymore.
Man,
so
anything with Rasputin is good.
Yeah, but he's like really into like wanting to get that done.
Yeah.
So heads up.
I have only seen The Witch, which I liked.
Yeah, it's very good.
I haven't seen The Lighthouse because I feel like it'd be too sexual for me.
I will say there's actually only like... No, it's been a very long time since
I don't know.
But I only recall one scene being sexual.
Okay, I think...
The rest of it is 2 men being angry at each other on an island.
Okay.
But I really only remember like one scene actually being sexual.
Okay.
I can rewatch it again.
I don't know.
You know for
I
sure.
saw like a few, so...
It's possible.
I'm just
like I said, it's been like 8 years since I watched it. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but it was... 5 years or something.
I feel like someone needs to rewatch it and I need to quiz them.
I can rewatch it. I can rewatch it.
Yeah, and then I haven't seen The Northman. I know like nothing about The Northman. I want to like find out about it. Like, please tell me what it's about and like if there's any content warnings. Like,
I don't know it.
All I know is fucking Bill. What's his name? Skarsgård. Not Bill, but
the other one.
The other one. I don't even know what his name is. It's not Andrew.
Nope. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Hang on.
I know of Stellan Skarsgård and Bill Skarsgård. I don't remember. Alexander Skarsgård? I think it's Alexander.
Skarsgård.
The one in True Blood.
Alexander, yes.
Yeah, I know he's in The Northman.
Alexander Johan Hjalmar Skarsgård.
Okay, cool.
Is a
the Skarsgårds are cool, yeah. The Skarsgårds are cool.
Fantastic.
Love Stellan.
What? I'm shocked.
Yeah, but yeah, I need to know about that movie, but
same, honestly.
Yeah, but Nosferatu was fun. Again, it's very much a ripoff, a Germany ripoff of Dracula, and I had a great time watching it because I was like, "That's in Dracula. That's in Dracula.
That's in Dracula.
That's in Dracula." Like the wolf part in it, it's straight from Dracula, which they don't put in a lot of Dracula adaptations.
Yeah, so they just like. They leave the wolf.
Yeah.
They leave the Demeter.
Yeah.
They just there's so many like little details.
It's
that
nice
they just
that they
don't
like
do.
added stuff that has been neglected in the Dracula movies.
They did add in the plague rats.
Yeah,
which I thought was so cool.
Yeah,
which that was
a great metaphor.
Yeah, but that was the rat addition to our emoji hit.
Yes,
the bat I felt is obvious, and then the cowboy is Quincy because I love him.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I loved the idea of the plague rats. Mm-hmm. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact, those were real rats.
I know.
Well, a lot of them were. They did take the rats and then added additional just to make it worse. But they did flood a town street with real rats.
Yep.
And the townspeople were not thrilled about that.
And they left Willem Dafoe in a room full of rats.
Oh, poor Willem Dafoe.
The Rat King.
The Rat King.
They all did a great job acting.
Oh, they all did so good.
It was a great movie.
And that's like another thing. They used mostly practical effects.
Yeah, which was
just... I mean, obviously, things were enhanced. Like, one of my favorite shots in the movie, honestly, is, like, all digital effects, which is, like, the dark hand stretch.
That was great. That was great.
And, like, obviously, that's not a practical effect.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
It was really good.
It was so, like, classic horror.
Yeah.
And it's just delicious.
It was good. And also the lighting in this movie is really good.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, like the nighttime scenes in black and white. It was really great.
Oh, I loved
it was really good. And
the costuming too.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, Count Orlok's design, like, I don't think it was released, or, like, it was, but I purposely did not look at it before I watched the movie.
Oh, I do. So I saw something about this. The posters that they put out were all of the characters, but not Orlok. Like, they showed everyone else in, like, their costumes, whatever. And he was in the background in the shadow. Yeah. So you could see, like, maybe an outline or maybe a hint of him, but you could not see him particularly. So, which is such a good idea.
Yeah, and, like, I was fully expecting the 1922 Nosferatu to come out, like, bald, snaggletooth,
or at least
ears,
a reference to him.
Something like that, and then he looks completely different, and I actually like the change.
Yeah, they gave, like, they did keep his ears a little pointed. Yeah. They, like, his teeth were obviously not, like, straight, but they weren't, like, quite as, like,
snaggletooth.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad. They were, like, there are references.
Yeah.
But I saw
then, like, he had hair and a mustache, and he's literally, like, a rotting corpse, because it's like, you are dead and you are undead now. So that's really good.
Yeah, and I saw that one of their goals, I want to come back to the whole, like, rotting corpse thing, because there's so many good things about that. But the way they, like, clothed him especially, they were like, this is an old noble, an old, like, Transylvanian, like, royalty.
Like 1400s old.
We want to dress him like that. Yeah. He will be covered in layers, in furs, in the feathers, colors. He will be bundled and intimidating. Yeah. And so they're like, even, like, the mustache was, like, not just, we want to honor the old Dracula, but also it's like, it's not just going to be a mustache, it's going to be, like, styled in that particular way. His hair is going to be, like, obviously there's not a lot of hair because it's fallen out because he's dead. Yeah. But, like, they've made it, every choice is so intentional to, like, who Orlok, Dracula, actually was before he died.
Yeah, it was really good.
And I loved every bit of it. Yeah. And, like, another thing that I, like, so appreciate about what they what was done with Orlok was his voice.
Yeah, the voice is good.
And how he struggled to breathe before, like, every sentence. Yeah. Because he's breathing through rotten lungs.
Yeah, like, he can't barely breathe.
So it's... And then I talk like this. And it's very slow and intentional and grating. Yeah. Because, one, that adds to the intimidation factor, but 2, it reminds you this man is very dead.
Yeah, definitely. Bill Skarsgård did a great job. He did a really good job.
It's so good. Yeah.
Better than Pennywise, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think he even said, he's like, this is the scariest thing I've ever played.
Yeah, it was good.
Which, like, I'm not gonna argue with that.
That's it was great. And, like, with his design, it's like, he's human but not. Like, he's a perverted version of human, which is so metaphorical and just so symbolic. It's just so well done. Yes. Yeah.
It does remind me of just, like, a trope that I see a lot that fucking drives me crazy. And I'm gonna bring it up, especially with, like, I'm gonna bring up TGCF real quick.
Okay, TGCF.
Because I see it a lot in those fics. Just as an example. I see this in other fandoms too. But, I'm a dead person, so I don't need to breathe, but my beloved needs CPR or whatever, needs air in their lungs, but I'm dead, so I don't have the air to help them. And I'm like, bitch, you are talking. Yeah. That means you have air in your lungs. You physically have air in your lungs in order to speak. Therefore...
Because you need the air to pass through your vocal cords.
Yeah, exactly. Therefore, you have air. Yeah. You can breathe to help them. Exactly. Being dead doesn't stop that. Yeah. Clearly. Yeah. And it's like, it was something I saw, like, back in the day when I read Twilight fanfic. Yeah. Or, you know...
no, for sure.
It's like, I see it all the time. Yeah. And it's like, this is...
like, you don't need to breathe to survive, but you need to breathe to talk.
Exactly! And it's like, I mean, I want to make a point that TGCF did not, like, MXTX did not make that mistake, because we see that point when, like, Hwa Chong gives Jillian air under the water, so, like, clearly they, like, she made a very important point. It's something I see in fanfic. Yeah. You see it with, like, you see it with the vampires, you see it with, like...
Yeah, everything.
And I was like, Orlok very much made a point to show you need air to talk.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that
was
about
well
you.
done. That was well done for sure. They thought about it.
Yeah, they're like, he did such a good job with that voice and with the scary breathing.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great movie. It was. I really liked it.
There was one thing, I think, and it's not just Nosferatu, it's in, like, the OG Dracula. It doesn't happen in many of the other adaptations just because they don't take the time to, like, bring this part up. There's still kind of questionable rep of, like, Romani people.
Oh, for sure.
Like, in the original Dracula, they're willing to, like, help Dracula out in any way they can. They're willing to serve what they know to be evil just for gold. And it's like, we don't need that shit. We don't need that shit.
Yeah.
And then we see in, like, Nosferatu, they openly steal from, I almost called him Jonathan Thomas.
Yeah.
And they're, like, parading a young virgin woman around in the snow to, like,
they very clearly, like, view them as, like, uncivilized, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, it's like slightly better in that they are still willing to, like, warn Thomas away from the castle, and, like, they give him a place to sleep and food to eat, but then they still steal from him and are doing kind of questionable acts. So it's like still not great. Not great rep.
The rep of Romani people in media is awful. It's so
very
awful.
Rarely done well at all.
And, like, they always use the slur.
Yeah, God. And, like,
every
that
time.
Could be, like, it's a period piece, like, but okay.
I feel like you don't have to do that, though.
You really don't.
Yeah, just call them, the Roma
like
are here.
Yeah, like, Roma, Romani.
Yeah.
Like, there are words for it, y'all.
Yeah.
They have names.
Exactly. It's pretty,
I had to, like, teach my mom, not about, like, the general one, but, you know, the, like, I'm gonna say the slang, not the full, but, you know, it's like, I've been out of cash, gypped.
Okay.
So, like,
I don't even know that.
it's short for the
It's
slang.
more like old slang.
Yeah, well, it's like, I've been, it basically means, like, they cheated me.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And it's short for the slur.
Yeah.
So, like, apologies, but, like, for those who don't know, it's short for the slur.
Okay.
So, information for people to know. My mom was, like, sending that in a text to someone. She's like, hey, how do you spell that? And I'm like,
how about you don't?
Yeah, she was like, she put in, like, a J first. And I was like, well, it's not a J. It would be a G.
Mm-hmm.
But it is short for a slur. So may I suggest another phrase? And she's like, okay. Like, erased it and, like, went to type something else. And was like, you know, for future reference.
I've
just
never, like, said that before in my life.
Yeah, it's like, it's definitely a phrase that has, like, I think fallen out of use.
Yeah.
More recently, I think because people have, like, learned the source of the phrase.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
But yeah, I was like, you know, I haven't thought about that word in years, but, like, now that I have, hey, Mom, let me inform you of a thing, so we can cut it out more fully.
Definitely. So,
but so yeah, fun fact. And for anyone who is uninformed, we don't want to be using that word. It's just it is a slur, and we prefer
offensive.
Romani and Roma. I say we. I'm not a part of that culture.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, as a general.
As we understand
society,
as we understand it, that's the
and
better
from
terms.
what I have learned, it's what they prefer to be called.
Yes, agree.
So, and we can learn from that, and ideally come up with better rep than what we have seen in Nosferatu and Dracula.
Yeah, but I did like the Nosferatu movie. It was good. It
was really good. It was fun.
Yeah, I saw it on Christmas with my girlfriend and my sister, and it was a great time.
I think I saw it, like, the day after that.
Yeah, it was great. It was so great.
We had a great time.
It was really fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. So, love all those. I want to do a special shout out. This is the last movie on my list.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, so I was, like, Wikipediaing all of the, like, adaptations and, like, writing down the ones I know. And then I come across this one, Dracula and the Boys.
Honestly, it's so perfect. It's such a perfect name.
It's so perfect. Okay, Dracula and the Boys is what it's called. From 1969. It is apparently the first gay vampire in film because it is a gay pornography. Dracula and the Boys.
Dracula and the Boys.
The first, like, gay vampire on film is a Dracula porno. Gay porno. Like,
I love it.
It's so great. We love that.
Although, to be fair, we know that all Draculas are gay, so,
yeah.
like, obviously, any Dracula put on film is gay.
And, like, any monster is queer.
All monsters are queer.
Yeah, just because of, like, being a monster, you're being, like, something different than, like, what's acceptable, so...
Yeah. All monsters are othered, therefore, all monsters are queer.
I have a good book
or
about
vice versa.
that. Yeah, there's good books about, like, the queerness of horror and everything, so... But it's like all monsters are queer by default. So.
Yep. I support it. I'm here for it.
Which
we're all gay here.
They kind of like allude to in the new Nosferatu movie as well. They like kind of insult Thomas of like he had you or like he seduced you too or something like that. There was like one line. And I was like, oh hey. So it's good. Like,
I mean, and then you look at like the original Dracula, and you see like Mina's like, if he's gonna take me, like just kill me, and Jonathan's like, if he's gonna take you, he's taking me too.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, that's a little fruity, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like we were saying at the beginning, like. Yeah, Oscar Wilde's trial helped inspire literally all of this.
Yeah, so...
It literally all comes from the gay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
In, like, a very political sense.
Yes.
Not to make this sound like,
the gay agenda.
Well, I mean, it is the gay agenda. But not to make it sound, like, dismissive.
No.
But, like, there is literally an otherness and queerness.
Yes.
From the very beginning.
Like, intentionally.
Yeah. And kind
of... That legacy is still there.
That legacy is still there.
Which is great.
And in that, we're all here, we're all queer, and we love you all, and we'll get through this together.
We will be here for each other, because we have always been here for each other, and we have to survive.
Yep, we've been there since the beginning, and we'll stay.
Yep, we will continue to be there, so. Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for Dracula Nosferatu. Let us know your...
Dracula and the Boys.
Yeah, Dracula and the Boys. Let us know your favorite adaptation, if we got anything wrong, or if you have different opinions, we would love to chat. Yeah, tell us we're right, tell us we're wrong. Yeah. Share our passion. Yes, that would be great. Join us in the Discord. It's still only us. It's still just us. If you're the first person to join the Discord, you are like the #1 fan. Yeah. That'll be fun, y'all. Yeah, we just got lots of memes and goodies. It's super fun. So yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.